Good morning. I am Dean Pohl, Rimini Street's Vice President of Investor Relations, and it is my pleasure to welcome all of you to our first ever Investor Day. Now a few disclosures. First, some of the matters we will discuss in today's conference, including our business outlook, are forward-looking and as such are subject to known and unknown risks and uncertainties, including but not limited to those factors set forth in our risk factors heading in our most recent annual report and on Form 10-Q and other documents filed and furnished to the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Those of you who are new to the story, we launched the company in 2005. We saw a very specific opportunity in a multi-billion-dollar TAM to come in and for the first time offer competition to enterprise software vendors who really owned almost a monopoly on the support, the aftermarket service that they provided on their software. This is unlike any other normal consumer environment where you have multiple choices, whether it's a car where you could take it for repair or an oil change to another location instead of the dealer. Potentially it's substantial savings or even a better particular service. Or even when you go out and you shop for different appliances, you always have choice in the consumer world. But enterprise software customers did not have those choices back in 2005. And that was reflected in the fact that the vendors had near 100% ownership of the aftermarket service environment, and they were getting price points with gross margins north of 90%. Again, very, very indicative of a monopolistic type of market. Now, in 2015, we embarked on an expansion of our view of maintenance. While we started off in the business of replacing the annual support that customers were paying the software vendors, which included things like break fix. If something breaks, you provide a fix. You need tax, legal, and regulatory updates around the world. You also need help when you want it on demand with a service level agreement. But in 2015, we saw an opportunity to move beyond that $88 billion TAM, to double that TAM to a $170 billion opportunity by changing beyond what we considered support in those early years. We now expanded support to include not just being there for the team who's running the system, but we will now run the system for customers. We will run it, we will provide the support, and we will do this as a single turnkey vendor going forward. This allows us a unique position to not only change the way services are bundled in the industry, but we are the only ones who are positioned at scale to provide both running the system and supporting it with no need for the software vendor whatsoever. And this allows us to deliver a client savings and a value proposition that nobody else in the industry can provide. We began this journey in 2015 with the vision. It took us till 2018 to begin executing publicly on it, which included a new partnership with Salesforce.com as we now support SaaS products as well as traditional on-premise. So we went to market with Salesforce and we've launched that business. We then launched our application management, which means running the systems on Oracle and SAP products in 2019. With very successful clients in all three of those AMS products, Salesforce, SAP, and Oracle. The bottom line is Rimini Street is positioned now going forward to make money no matter what the product is, whether it is a SaaS product like a Salesforce and eventually potentially a Workday and a ServiceNow product and others, as well as the big traditional on-premise, of which there are tens of thousands of clients. And you'll hear more about that market opportunity from David Rowe in his marketing presentation. Now, I mentioned that we're changing the way services are bundled. This is just a quick slide to show you how we're taking the application management services that are traditionally delivered by the big SIs, and we're coupling it with the traditional software vendor maintenance that's provided by the vendor only. And we're bringing those together in one expert vendor bundle, again, uniquely positioned ahead of everybody else.
Today, I will share with you why we believe clients buy Rimini Street services, and then walk through a few select case studies that span different Rimini services, products supported, industries, and geographies that support our buyer thesis. To get started, I will share two case studies around T-Mobile, an $80 billion major telecom in North America, now merged with Sprint, and PSEG, a $10 billion major U.S. utility that generates nuclear power and serves over 2 million customers in New Jersey and Long Island. This picture is our CEO, Seth Raven, on stage with T-Mobile and PSEG at Gartner's large global symposium event, where our clients explain their IT strategies to delay and avoid costly, low-value ERP upgrades and improve service levels at the same time. T-Mobile concluded that its time, resources, and budget was better spent invested in 5G infrastructure and client acquisition, its top areas of competition, rather than costly support and software changes for its SAP ERP system that was meeting its current and expected future needs for years to come. Rimini Street was the proven solution to support the SAP system and extend its life for another 5, 10, or even 15 additional years. Likewise, PSEG also concluded that it needed to focus on and invest in more important IT projects than migrating and upgrading its highly customized and complex SAP financial system. And it not only turned over the support of the SAP system to Rimini Street, but a year later expanded their service contract with Rimini Street to include our application management services for SAP. So today, Rimini Street runs and supports the SAP system for PSEG using a global service delivery team. Some of the key operational accomplishments we have already achieved for PSEG include reducing the open caseload to under 100 cases in 6 months, an important goal to PSEG and something their previous AMS provider could not accomplish in more than 10 years. To wrap it up, I think what you should take away from these case studies is that Rimini Street has been successful by keeping a fanatical focus on helping our clients achieve their strategic, financial, and IT goals, no matter what the industry or geography. When our clients are successful, Rimini Street is successful. This philosophy is ingrained deep in the Rimini Street culture and operating model, and will remain at the center of our strategy to accelerate growth and achieve our financial and operating goals in the years ahead.
Validate that our goal of achieving $1 billion in annual revenue by 2026 is both reasonable and feasible. Additionally, these estimates, remember, are only for third-party support market and do not include the additional substantial revenue opportunities for AMS or application management services, or any of our other subscription services, such as security, interoperability, or monitoring. So now let's move from Gartner's estimates of the expanding size of total industry sales, and let's take a look at just how large our current market, our current total addressable market opportunity is for the products we cover just for today. You can see that the addressable market opportunity is many times the size of the current estimated sales into that market. So on the left is the third-party support market TAM, just for Oracle and SAP products we cover today, about $14.5 billion. But if you go to the right, by adding in Oracle, SAP, and Salesforce application management services to our portfolio, our TAM has doubled to nearly $30 billion. In our experience so far, the AMS deals we close with clients are on average larger than the original support deal, sometimes significantly larger. So it's a big market with more than enough opportunity to support our growth targets through 2026 and beyond. This graphic shows the Rimini Street market penetration rate just for our support services by a geographic region. Even with our annual revenue now in the $300 million range, you can see just how much additional addressable opportunity there is in this market. To date, we've only captured about 3.5% of the global addressable support market for the vendor products we service. And when you add in our AMS addressable market opportunity, where we're just launching our global sales initiative and still have, really an immaterial penetration, our total penetration of addressable market to date is even less. We are barely scratching the surface of the global opportunity for our services. So it's an expansive market opportunity with plenty of runway. Leading names among our tools that you recognize, like Salesforce, which is the core of our sales and marketing systems, Marketo, which is our marketing automation engine, Click, which we use for analytics and measurement, and SalesLoft, which provides lead gen enablement and automation. Now, you can also see that several names are blurred, and these represent what we think are a differentiating secret sauce combination of systems and technologies that give us a technical competitive advantage in our marketing, including leading edge technologies like intent signals, account-based marketing, lead attribution, and data enrichment. Together, we believe these integrated systems and technologies give Rimini Street a solid marketing technical foundation for continued leadership in our market.
Now, let's first look in more detail at our regional model. As you can see, we now have 4 theaters: North America, Europe, Middle East and Africa, Latin America, and Asia Pacific. And underneath those 4 theaters, we actually have 9 regions, with each a strong, experienced general manager leader. This regional model has proven to bring the right level of focus and attention to the operations internationally in the past, and has been key to our success. And now we also have that general manager model in place for North America with 3 regions. Each general manager has full ownership of all of Rimini Street's activities in their region, from strategy to execution, with full P&L responsibility. This gives us the right level of focus and understanding of the local markets, the customers, the competition, and allows us to address differences across regions. These GMs act as CEO of their regions and have the full accountability for it. They each define their regional strategy, their execution plans, from marketing to lead generation to sales to customer success and to delivery. But they work closely with our global functional owners, who ensure global consistency with the right functional strategies, policies, processes, but execution is the full responsibility of the GMs. Now, going from a single product company to a multi-product company is challenging, as it requires significant structural and operational changes across the entire revenue execution model. And one of these challenges is the ability for our sellers to be proficient in every product we offer. We have reached a point where we need to move from to a more specialized sales force. And last year, we started by focusing sellers between Oracle and SAP products, as these have their own specificities and customer pain points are very different. We are now going to the next level and have implemented at the start of this year an overlay sales model, augmenting our sales engine with specialist sales reps for AMS for Oracle, SAP, and Salesforce, as well as for strategic services. In this model, the senior account executive who has traditionally sold support remains the single point of contact seller, owning the sales process for each opportunity end to end. But she or he will now have the ability to bring in a sales expert for every AMS, whether being Oracle, SAP, Salesforce, or for any strategic services opportunities, either cloud, interoperability, security, consulting, or monitoring. This will also ensure for our customers a cohesive and coordinated sales force and sales effort regardless of the services they buy from us. And at the same time, get a deep knowledge and expertise set of people to interact with. We are also augmenting our technical sales team of so-called SSAs with AMS specialist technical resources. Also, as cross-selling into our existing client base is a key opportunity for us, we now have client success managers who own the client relationship on an ongoing basis. And they will be driving a coordinated management of our existing client across the entire Rimini Street organization. Their focus has shifted from the past being purely on retention to retention and growth of these clients. And then finally, with the success of SaaS technologies and the explosion of point solutions for almost every function of the enterprise, it is becoming increasingly more complicated for CIOs to decide the best roadmap for their ERP environment. We are now offering through experts a road mapping capability available to our customers to enable them to take control of their IT roadmap, especially for ERP and databases. This will help position us as a strategic partner with our
Let me touch briefly on application managed services. Our application managed services is our newest service offering that integrates very closely with our support delivery service. As you can see in the graphic, AMS consists of incidents, service requests, admin tasks, and enhancement hours. The key here, and this is really important, that for service incidents and service requests and admin tasks, it's unlimited. Clients can log as many as they need to log. This is very different than the path that other AMS vendors go down, where they're simply solving tickets, and it's all about ticket counts. Now, this is critical for us, is we are focused on not just solving tickets, but fixing the root cause of our clients' issues and reducing the overall number of tickets. The AMS resources, the folks that we use to drive the AMS business, by definition, are somewhat less experienced than our level 4 engineers, typically 3 to 5 years. Hence, their cost is slightly less. It's actually about 2/3 of what a full level 4 engineer. That's important as we, Rimini, can solve many more issues at a lower cost with the AMS team that may have typically gone to the L4 team. As a matter of fact, we are seeing data that shows one of our largest clients, 32% of the cases that would have gone to L4 were resolved by the AMS team. This means that 32% of the cases were resolved by lower cost resources. This is really critical as we continue to drive up margins, and this is one of the ways that we're doing it. As we do with our level 4 support, we also provide industry-leading response times and resolution targets, which I'll touch on in a later slide. As a matter of fact, we have seen this already played out with one of our largest AMS and support clients. We analyzed a full year of service requests and have seen a 75% reduction in overall open incidents. Overall, open issues have dropped by 20%. And for their Ariba product, 31% reduction in incidents and a 38% drop in open HR incidents. And for their specific industry functionality, the open incidents dropped 22%. So we're really seeing the ability to drive that root cause analysis and keep the number of incidents going lower and lower and lower, which is, once again, great for margin. The third pillar that I wanted to touch on today is product delivery. This is the tax, legal, and regulatory organization. This team ensures our clients can remain compliant with the thousands of tax, legal, and regulatory updates that happen around the world all the time. In fact, in 2020, we delivered nearly 90,000 updates for our clients globally. We currently deliver to clients in 117 countries as updates are required, and have built an infrastructure that allows us to rapidly build capabilities in new countries. Although, as we've scaled the business, we now cover the vast majority of countries and regions. The team utilizes a 3-tier sourcing process to monitor 2,700 government sites, 3,300 information sources to monitor changes as they arise, using our proprietary technology to monitor, capture, and analyze changes to determine if they impact our clients' ERP systems. Product delivery then uses a factory floor approach using an agile methodology and framework to build out new updates. The majority of the factory floor is based out of our offices in Hyderabad and Bengaluru, India, where we have some of the best talent in the world and we're driving great value. Our strategy for growth in the tax, legal, and regulatory area is to build, buy, or partner to deliver Rimini-developed solutions that will continue to drive quality, efficiency, and scalability. By building our own solutions, we will be able to build once and deploy multiple times as opposed to working with the vendor solutions while we develop for each client individually on their own systems. And updates typically come out earlier than the vendor equivalent and are tailored more for our clients' needs, which ensure that issues are minimized, implementation is easier, and gives clients more uptime, hence higher client satisfaction.
As Seth noted earlier, we're a company that was launched in 2005 to bring new competitive offerings into an industry where enterprise software vendors had de facto near monopolies on the aftermarket support of their products, as evidenced by the percentage of the aftermarket support they controlled and by their more than 90% gross profit margins. Now, battles over aftermarket servicing of products has been around for decades. Whether it was the battle between telecom and cable as the markets merged, or the deregulation of telecom and utilities, or more recently, the disruption of huge lucrative markets like taxi or rental car transportation by Uber, or the disruption of the traditional hotel hospitality industry by Airbnb. All of these market disruptions led to litigation as those who controlled the market fiercely battled to protect their controlling positions. The likelihood of protracted and nasty litigation grows as new competitors win business against the incumbents and as the competitors grow in popularity and success. The original court cases often cited in aftermarket competitive litigation involved Xerox, for example, not wanting anyone else to repair their copiers, or IBM not wanting anybody else to service their mainframe computers, and car manufacturers trying to keep independent mechanics from getting the diagnostic tools necessary to compete in repair of cars. All of these battles eventually were lost in the courts because they were found to violate consumer rights for choice and found to be anti-competitive. Thanks to these court battles, you can now get your car repaired in a local repair shop of your choice and not have to pay the higher car dealer fees. Or you get to have your home appliances serviced by an independent repair shop. We can now hail an Uber instead of a taxi, or stay in an Airbnb instead of a hotel. In our case, Rimini Street's more than 10-year court battle with Oracle is not about whether Rimini Street is a legal competitor. The courts ruled on that years ago and were very clear that Rimini Street is a lawful competitor to Oracle. Instead, as the court has noted, our litigation is about the manner in which Rimini Street provides support for certain Oracle product lines. These are technical how we deliver our service battles. To use the car analogy, everyone, including Oracle, agrees that Rimini Street has the right to fix the car. It's how we fix the car, what tools we use, what processes we use for certain Oracle product lines. That's the subject of ongoing litigation. I'll go a little bit deeper into that in the following slides. But what I wanted to point out to you in this slide is the summary of the facts. While Oracle and Rimini Street have continued our litigation for over 10 years and across two separate cases, what we call Rimini 1, where Oracle sued Rimini Street, and Rimini 2, where Rimini Street sued Oracle in 2014, Rimini Street has continued to grow its revenue, launch new service offerings for Oracle products, and expand its list of Oracle clients served. Further, We have no limitations or restrictions on our ability to offer support or other services for any Oracle product lines. However, an injunction that was put into place by the court defines the manner in which Rimini Street can provide support for services for certain Oracle product lines. And although Oracle contends otherwise in court filings, Rimini Street believes it has and continues to service its clients in compliance with the injunction and will continue to vigorously defend our position in court if and when necessary. I also want to note that while Rimini Street also fiercely competes with SAP for clients since we launched SAP support over a decade ago, we do all of our competing on the sales battlefield with SAP, not in the courtroom.